welcome to Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. I am Max Lope, as Chef say, Pat McGuire over there. Guys, we appreciate you hopping on for our Week 6 preview live at the beautiful Lakewood Truck Park. It is
beautiful.
absolutely gorgeous out. Zay, Pat, I mean, this is – we could not ask for a better day. I know we just said that and then immediately followed it with last time we said that Browns lost by 30, but we couldn't ask for a better day. It's beautiful out. The food trucks, looks like there's some local vendors out here too. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be an awesome day, hopefully capped off by a Browns win.
Hibachi for breakfast. I mean, you can't get no better than that, right? Kegs and eggs or hibachi and sushi. Sign me the freak up.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, hibachi for breakfast doesn't sound great at 9 a.m., but now it's what, 11:15?
11:17.
Push 11:30 noon. I'm going to get on that. I mean, this is – like, you can't ask for anything better, but at the end of the day, it'll partially more maybe holistically be dependent on the outcome of the game. I mean, we were just talking. There has to be a world today where the Browns offense clicks, but even if they do, is there a world they even come close to winning this game? I think there is.
I mean, what is the number 21 game losing streak in Heinz and whatever the new name of that crap stadium is called? Losses.
Acrisure.
How about Dylan Gabriel? I mean, is this guy gonna put his stones in a barrel and wheel him out to the 50-yard line and gritty, or what are we gonna do here? Like, I think today is all gonna boil down to one person. Really, like, I think my magnifying glass has never been bigger, and I'm never gonna be more harsher. It's Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Kevin Stefanski's going to have to open up this offense. He's going to have to be aggressive, especially against the AFC North opponent. I can't imagine, like you saw the Myles Garrett post, you know there's a little extra added motivation there.
Yep.
But Kevin Stefanski's got to – your feet are no longer at the fire. They're in the fire now. So
sure.
I'm expecting a nice Kevin Stefanski performance today.
I hope you're right, and I think our standard is being set so low right now watching this Jets-Broncos game because the Jets, I just looked, they kicked their third field goal of the game. I'll read you guys some stats right now. 10 minutes left in the third quarter of this game. The Jets have 69 total yards, 1 for 8 on third down, 13 total passing yards in terms of sacks versus actual throwing yards. Justin Fields has thrown 4, 28 yards. Garrett Wilson has a catch for 2 yards.
Did you see the 2-minute drill, Max?
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that. Potentially the worst 2-minute drill I've ever seen, letting the clock run out, all this stuff. And Garrett Wilson looked like getting into Aaron Glenn a little bit going into halftime. But, hey, at least the Browns have a rookie quarterback that's unproven, and there was no Justin Fields experiment, right?
What's the price tag for Garrett Wilson? Is Andrew Berry going to make a call? Will Andrew Berry make a trade? Because obviously trades have been the topic of discussion this week. Now names like Wyatt Teller, Joe Patonio, David Njoku are being thrown. Shelby Harris are being thrown out there. Yeah. Is he going to make a trade again for players, or is it going to be around picks? Because if he can see a little swap, like you're looking at the Greg Newsome and that Campbell trade, he's probably looking at it as maybe an even swap or an upgrade. So I'm wondering what direction they're going to go in terms of this deadline. Are they going to go get some more players that are under control, or are they going to go the typical Cleveland Browns route?
I think it's got to be sellers at this point. I think when you look at like a guy like David Njoku especially, who, again, there was a report from Mary Kay this morning that said – she doesn't think the Browns are shopping him, doesn't think the Browns will trade him, but she also said the same thing about Joe Flacco and Greg Newsome. So it is hard to believe that he's 100% safe. That's the reality of it. But at the same time, you have a guy who's 29 years old on the last year of his contract and probably wants to contribute to a winning football team while he still has his best years of football to give. And, I mean, I can promise you there are teams out there. My mind immediately goes to the Los Angeles Chargers, who I know are actively making calls, more on running backs, but actively making calls to bring people in. I think there are teams out in the NFC, too, that really could use a jolt in terms of offensive production. Like, I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a guy like Dallas Goedert, probably not going to make a trade there. But there are a couple teams, across the league that really could use it. Could you imagine him in a Sean McVay-led offense? Like, there are going to be teams that are aggressive and teams that operate along the Los Angeles Rams, Les Snead, F them picks line. But what was really weird to me is the whole offensive line trade. Like, I've talked about a potential Wyatt Teller trade really dating back since the spring. Like, I think it's a possibility. I think it's on the table. Ethan Pochich was weird, though. I don't think Joel Bitonio gets moved. I think this is his last year. I think we know this. We understand this. Ethan Pochich was really weird, though. To me, I guess there's some value, and I guess, honestly, the Browns probably believe in the depth behind him, but, like,
nah.
What do you get for him? What do you get for, again, a Wyatt Teller? Like, I would be shocked if Pocic's move, not a Teller's move, but Pocic's move.
I can see the Teller one for sure. I mean, it's weird timing by all of this stuff because I feel like you had a really good opportunity. If you knew that this was the direction that you were heading or this was the direction that you foresaw in your future, why didn't you make some of these moves during that draft during the draft? Because I'm sure the compensation would have been a lot higher at that point. You probably would have been able to get better picks, maybe been able to get more picks in this draft, seeing as it was such a great draft.
Yep.
So it definitely kind of sucks in that aspect. But I don't know if you saw the comments yesterday. I barely got to see anything yesterday, but I did see one comment from Myles Garrett where he talked about, I think Mary Kay reported it and maybe wrote an article on it, where she said that Myles Garrett said that this team is committed to winning.
I saw that.
So I didn't get to see the full video or get to see the full context behind it, but I would have loved to see how Myles Garrett said that, because if you hear that, I mean, we know Myles isn't afraid to speak his mind now. So I'm wondering what is on the horizon, if there's some big splash, whether it be probably not during the middle of this year, but is there a big splash on the horizon coming at the end of the year? That's where my head goes when I hear that.
Yeah, I mean, the trade deadline is less than a month away. It's November 4th. I'm glad you brought up the draft thing again. I want to ask you, the Jaguars posted a video, I think it was across all socials, I saw it on Twitter, of James Gladstone talking about the Greg Newsome trade, kind of what he brings and how important that is to the defense, what the Jaguars are doing. The Jaguars defense, I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure they lead the league in turnovers. Up until that Monday night game, multiple interceptions forced every single game. That's a good defense. That's forcing turnovers. Devin Lloyd, legitimate defensive player of the year candidate, probably the non-edge rusher defensive player of the year right now. But my mind immediately went to that pick trade, number 2, number 5, the Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, and whatever else the Browns got, that trade. You think the Jaguars tried to loop Greg Newsome in that trade? Or do you think the Browns tried to sell on Greg Newsome? Because it's a reality to me with guys like him, Obokoronkwo, Wyatt Teller. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else we continue to throw around in the trade world. I mean, David Njoku a little bit in the draft, but not really.
Teller would have probably been the other one.
Yeah, but I feel like those guys could have been on the move in the draft. And I don't know if they would have gotten more compensation, less compensation. I look at this trade for the Browns long-term probably as a win if you're not going to pay Greg Newsome. But I don't know. It was shocking to me. I hate to be the hindsight guy here, but that was really eye-opening to me. Maybe they tried to get Greg Newsome in the draft too.
I wonder what they would have gotten more for him. My bigger question with that is, though, we're looking at it now. Did the Jaguars win that trade? Now I know that sounds crazy, but just hear me out for 1 second. And the only reason why I asked that is because we all thought that the Jaguars would be trash. We thought that pick would warrant, and I know we got Q, I know we got Travis. It looks like we won that trade. But what I'm asking that point is, they're 4-1. Now, I know Travis Hunter hasn't been all-world. I know he hasn't been, the player that we all thought, well, it's still early to tell. He's still making his impact. But what I'm saying is you drafted a guy who's playing on both sides of the ball, and whether it's the Liam Cohen, whether it's Trevor Lawrence, or whatever the case may be, they won the same amount of games that they won all last year up until this point.
Yeah.
So, if you look at it from a Jaguar standpoint, are they looking at it like, okay, we didn't really lose this trade because at the end of the day, this is results-based business. We got 4 wins on our belt. So I don't know. What do you think? Is it not as lopsided as we once thought it was?
No, I think it's clear the Browns won the trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the case. And you look at just players for players right now, like Hunter, Mason Graham, and I'm pretty sure it was Judkins. That was the pick they wound up getting. But regardless, Judkins, I feel more confident in 2 immediate impact starters than Travis Hunter, who could be considered a 2 players, offense, defense. But at the same time, you forget about the first-round pick for next year. We don't even mention that or talk about that. The Jacksonville Jaguars last year, and anybody watching can correct me, had tied for the most one-possession losses in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence was very clearly not the same after a very early injury. Mac Jones had to play a couple games as well. I just think that team, with a new head coach coming in, I really like Liam Cohen, was advertised as worse than they actually were. I think this Jaguars team, and I talked about it, I think in May, with the one-possession thing, with the offensive weapons that were coming in. I just think they're a solid team. I talked about it pre-draft too. I was a little more – I pushed back a little bit on, the Jaguars pick being where the Browns select before their own pick. I thought it would be the other way around because number one, I think the Browns win a lot of games, but number two, I thought the Jaguars would legitimately push for a wild card spot. And now with the division, I mean, I still truly, and I know I'm going to sound crazy, I still think the Texans are the best team in that division, but the Colts are playing great football, and I mean, who knows what can happen with Jacksonville now. But I think I think you can look at it and as a Browns fan confidently say, we won that trade. The Browns roster and coaching staff, not as good as the Jaguars.
If you don't mind me jumping in here, guys, my thing, though, is I think the Browns won the trade, but I don't think they were going to take Travis Hunter to begin with. To me, the Mason Graham pick signaled that they would have taken Abdul Carter, and I think it would have been a fine pick. I wanted him at 2 as it is, but I think it's kind of like the grade is sort of like an incomplete at this point because Travis Hunter, is still, 5-6 games in, whatever it is. But I think the Browns would have taken Abdul Carter, and they were thrilled to trade out of it anyway and get someone that they had a similar comp with Abdul Carter anyway.
Yeah,
that's neither here nor there at this point.
That is a great call, and Carter's been
especially for your Giants.
Yeah, he's been great the first 6 weeks of the season, but at the same time, I think the Browns needed that interior help, and I want to transition interior help to talk about Mike Hall a little bit here because there were some crazy reports that came out about him this week, basically saying that he's babying his knee injury, he could play and he's been medically cleared, but he doesn't want to or refuses to. I don't know what it is.
They're saying it's on him.
Yeah,
really.
Yep. The fact that and there is absolutely substance to what I'm about to say. The fact that he was not put on IR. And basically said, we expect you to be back within the first 4, maybe 5 weeks, and then week 6 is rolling around, and I'm pretty sure there's been no full practice yet. What is going on? Because I look at him coming into that defensive line with Malik Collins just playing his butt off, Mason Graham just having a very solid start to his rookie year, and then the guys on the outside, that defensive line could be even better than it is right now. And I honestly think, we'll talk about this later, the Shelby Harris trade thing. If Hall is coming back, that's probably even more of a push away for Harris, but I was shocked by some of the stuff I saw about him. I was shocked.
Mike Hall got injured before he got injured again. He was injured before the injury last year, right? I think same knee.
I don't know if it was the same knee, but
I know he had that injury at Ohio State too.
He's been banged up. Absolutely.
So I'm wondering if there was something that was mishandled. Because if it's on him, that is weird.
It's weird
to say that. I'm not coming back. Which also plays into the weird line of rabbit hole theories of Browns Browns. What is it? What is that? The training staff and all of that, the soft tissue injuries and all of that stuff. I wonder if he doesn't have trust in it to where it's you know what? I'm not trusting your guys' opinion. I'm going to go by off of mine. But my original thought was we know these guys don't like to risk certain things if the reward isn't there. Browns are 1-4 right now.
Yeah, there's no
What's the risk reward
Yeah.
in bringing in a guy like this, giving other teams tape, showing other people's schemes that we haven't really got to use yet with Mike Hall? So I'm wondering if it's one of those things where they're just kind of if you're gonna get healthy 100%, just go ahead and get healthy. It's not like we need you right now anyway. Because to your point, Malik Collins has been fan-freaking-tastic. Mason Graham, I mean, it would be even better if he was on the field, but it's not like we're hurting for Mike Hall right now.
That is true, and that's a good way to put it. They're definitely not hurting for Mike Hall, but I also don't know if we know how good the defensive line could be with him because he's been exceptional, especially in pass rush settings when he's been able to be out there. It's all the physical comps for him walking into the league were Aaron Donald. I don't think I'll ever compare anybody to Aaron Donald in NFL history, but that's a guy who's athletic, can get after the quarterback, and Malik Collins has been awesome rushing the passer. Mason Graham has been solid, but at the same time, you like a speed guy like Mike Hall to provide you something different. When he comes back, if he comes back, I'm very excited, and I think that defensive line could be even better. Let's talk Tyson Campbell, though, because that, to me, is another layer to this Browns defense that I think can be unlocked. To me, he's the Martin Emerson of this defense.
He does look long when I saw him.
He's physically he's just big. He's bigger than Greg. That's the reality. He's bigger than Greg Newsome. Greg Newsome, eyes on the football, break, make tackles. I talked about it on Friday. I thought part of the reason he was so good in 2023 was because he could be between the hashes and just play instinctually. He didn't have to think. He didn't have to go cover somebody one-on-one all the time. But now I'm looking at this with Tyson Campbell. That's not what he's built for. Campbell is built for, I'm going to line up and I'm going to press you one-on-one.
Which they like to do.
They do, and I think very few corners in the NFL physically are more built for a DK Metcalf matchup than him. And I don't know if they're going to travel Ward. I don't know if they're just not going to travel anybody. I think that's probably what it's going to be. I don't think they're going to travel anybody, but I don't know. I like the matchup with Tyson Campbell against some of these bigger outside guys, especially with Pittsburgh, because Rodgers likes to distribute the ball in, I'd say, even fashion. He doesn't look a certain way. Even with DK now, it's not like he's getting peppered with 12
He's getting a lot of
targets
chunk yards with him.
Exactly, yeah, and he's taking what he's given. And that's credit to Steelers. Like, I think their offense has been a lot better than we expected. I looked at them personnel-wise, and I was like, what else do they have other than Rodgers, who we both thought were solid walking into the year. Jalen Warren's a good player. DK's a good player. They traded for John, who I was a little skeptical just of the usage. And the usage hasn't been there, but that's a guy I'm watching in this game that I'm a little bit scared about on the inside. I don't know what the Browns are going to do there. How are you feeling about this Steelers offense walking into this game today?
I'm wondering – I want to touch on the Campbell thing because I'm wondering how much he can benefit from the type of defensive line that we have. You know what I mean? Because we talked about that in the offseason about how we needed to give these DBs some grace because we already knew what we were going into. Knowing that the Browns like to play press coverage so much, I'm wondering if Jim Schwartz is going to be able to scheme things up a little bit differently. You think back to some of the matchups that Greg Newsome had where the mismatch was height and length. You know what I mean? And you have a guy who is going to be one of the taller corners out there. You're going to be able to press. You talk about a half a second to a second and a half difference in the NFL, how much that means for a player. You talk about a defensive line that's getting there so quick. You won't have to press as long that much. So it'll be a good opportunity to see. Obviously, I haven't watched any Campbell to know what to expect out of him, but I'm going to be watching to see how that press coverage looks, to see how he is after you get 10 yards down the field once that defensive line gets there. So I'm super excited to see that. But in terms of the offense, man, this is going to be one of those things where don't beat yourself.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you go through and you look at that personnel thing. Sure, Jalen Warren can give you some sparks here and there. They got the rookie running back. They got DK. But, when you think about the personnel and you're matching up, our defensive players are better than their offensive players.
And they should perform like that.
Exactly. So don't play down to that level. We know Aaron Rodgers is going to not be afraid to air it out. So the DBs are going to have to be ready. Denzel Ward, I imagine, gets his wish that he got a couple weeks ago where he said, I hope they throw it my way. I think he was talking to Joe Burrow when he said that. But just don't make mistakes. Don't give them anything easy, and be prepared for the back shoulder throw because we know Aaron Rodgers is going to throw it.
Yep, and he's going to. And the reality with how the Browns play defense is there's going to be plenty of opportunities for that. One-on-one on the sidelines. The Steelers are a very heavy two tight end team. They're going to force the Browns to load the box, have a single on the outside, whether it's Ward, Campbell, whoever. Rodgers is going to be able to take his shots, and part of me is afraid of that because I do respect and understand that him and DK are on the same page with that stuff.
And we give up shots.
And truthfully, the Steelers, you look at some of the
speaking
teams.
Speaking of Steelers.
Oh, we got a Steelers fan pulling up now.
Oh, no.
I'll ask you about the percentage of Steelers fans we'll see here in a second here. But, part of what I've seen with the Steelers, they got the Patriots when they didn't have Christian Gonzalez. They got a Vikings team who plays a ton of zone, a Seahawks team who plays a ton of zone. They haven't had a ton of opportunities to truly test how good they can go one-on-one against Denzel Ward or Tyson Campbell, whoever it may be. I think they're going to try to exploit that today. But I think the more important thing, and it's like beating a dead horse here, the inside. And I think Jonnu Smith is going to have to play a big role for the Steelers. I think this has to be a Grant Delpit game. I think in terms of defensive leader, you want to come up and play AFC North football, this is the type of game that a guy like Grant Delpit is built for. But he's going to have to stop Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth in the middle. That is where Aaron Rodgers is going to try to go with the football as much as possible. I don't know, though. I like the Browns' matchups one-on-one against these guys. I really do. If they can stop the run and force them into third and medium, third and long, where you can rush 4 or 5, I love the matchups.
It's funny you say you're watching Grant Delpit because I'm watching a completely different set of players on this. When we talk about the future of this team and we talk about all of these players, man, we've got some young studs on this team. Q is going to be a guy I imagine is going to, coming from Ohio State, understanding how rivalries are with Michigan.
Absolutely.
Coming in Pittsburgh. We already seen him so animated on the sideline. I'm looking at Q. I'm looking at Harold Fannin. I'm looking at Carson Schlesinger in particular. I'm looking at Mason Graham. Why am I looking at them? Because think about over the years, the teams that have had their staples in the AFC North. You had your Ed Reeds. You had your Ray Lewises, your Terrell Suggs. You've had your Chad Johnsons, your Carson Palmers. You've had these players across the other 3 teams in the division that you can seriously look at every single week and be like, Yeah, I hate playing these guys.
Yeah.
I want them to embrace that same type of energy and that same type of feeling that those players gave the teams. So how are they going to look against a Pittsburgh Steelers team on the road?
I am very excited, and I think we all overlooked the fact that obviously the Browns had an AFC North game against Cincy in Week 1. Steelers, Ravens, different like AFC North quote-unquote games, but
this is the Steelers.
It's the Steelers. It's different, and even Quinshon Judkins Week 2 when he played against Baltimore was not like a true starter, did not get the same workload he's been getting against Green Bay, Detroit, all these teams. I am so excited to see what he can offer in his first full AFC North start.
Yep.
And that, to me, is exciting. And you watch how they played the Bengals, you feel like you can win that game. And I think we all agree, scoreboard way overblown in terms of the talent difference and production difference in the Baltimore game. But you have a chance now to avoid going 0-3 in the division, and even sitting here at 2-4 with all of the moving parts at the beginning of the year. This is the toughest stretch of the Browns' schedule. I wouldn't be completely upset sitting at 2-4 after this week, knowing how good that defense is, and transitioning to an offense that is supposed to be better. Not going to say it is better, supposed to be better. I would feel more comfortable about this team because this win can mean so much. Like, this is the type of win.
This
can
change the season. Yeah.
This is the type of win that can change the season. It's obviously way easier said than done, but this is the type of win that can change the trajectory of the season. Like, I look at what the Patriots did to the Bills last Sunday night. That's a game that you knew the Patriots. Yeah, Giants against the Eagles. I don't think the Giants have the talent to like continue to win games.
But they have the quarterback.
They have the quarterback, and honestly, they have the belief
and the coach.
They have. I think so.
Well, listen to us hyping up the Giants. Is this a Giants show now? Golly, man.
The one thing I will say, because I know there's some Giants fans who are out there watching right now, I'm a bigger Daboll guy than a lot of people.
I like Daboll.
He is an awesome players coach. If you didn't see that with the medical tent stuff, I don't know what else to show you.
That had me fired up.
And him, Scadaboo, and Dart, it's like there's belief in that team.
I get that with Judd.
Yeah. I think with Judkins, I honestly think with the young defensive players, you see it. Like Schlesinger goes about his business, isn't over the top about certain things. Myles Garrett obviously is incredible, but these young rookies, we've talked about this being a transformational draft class, have the talent to contribute to signature wins like this. They have the talent to do it.
Yep.
It's a matter of putting it all together. Because last week, again, far and away, Browns were the better team. You look at this season, Week 1 Bengals, Browns were the better team. Baltimore, they weren't.
First half of that, they were even with Baltimore. First half was bad, or the second half was bad. But think about it. They held Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry to 120 combined yards in that first half.
But Week 3 Green Bay, it's pretty even. And the team that forced the turnovers won. Week 4 Detroit, they were not the better team. Last week, absolutely better team. There are more games than not this year where you're the better team. I think this game we could very easily, even if they lose, walk away and say they were evenly matched with this Steelers team. There's belief in terms of the young players. There's talent in terms of the roster and really young players as well. It has to meet at the top with who is at the top and contribute to wins, translate to wins. We haven't seen it yet. We've gone, 20 minutes without talking about Kevin Stefanski. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, because I'm trying not to go down the damper. I don't want to damper on your parade because this has been the weirdest Steeler week I think I've ever experienced as a fan. Between all of the Kevin Stefanski talk, we haven't even talked about the fact that a rookie third-round guy is starting against Pittsburgh Steelers because we've been so hell-bent on Shedeur Sanders talk. I moved, so I've been doing all that crap, you know what I mean? So I haven't been able to do that. Like, it doesn't even feel – it feels like a game day now because we're sitting here talking about it, but it doesn't feel like Steelers week, which is weird. But it's good to know that the most important – there's only one player that really makes this whole – belief and hope feeling go, and that's Myles Garrett. As long as that guy is locked in and he's ready to go, you saw the post this past weekend, this team is still going to have that fight and this team's going to have that fire. I think this is going to be the one year where the defense is going to continue to just be the defense no matter what the offense is. We saw them kind of break off last year after, the Jameis experiment, the snow globe. Like right after that snow globe game, it was kind of like, yeah, they're checked out.
Yep.
I don't think this is that year.
Definitely not.
So I'm very optimistic, not only about today, but I'm optimistic on this next stretch, man. You win today, Think about the confidence that had. You've been on the road for 3-4 weeks. Stadium's going to be freaking rocking.
Yep.
You've got a good stretch of opponents here to where you feel like you should win this game. So I'm super excited for it.
I'm with you, and especially when you look at the hard pivot in the Browns' schedule. Like, we talked about it all spring, all summer. The first 6 weeks are a gauntlet. Like, you legitimately, the Bengals with Joe Burrow, probably a playoff team. The Ravens, when healthy, a Super Bowl caliber team.
Not no more.
Well, exactly. For now. Interestingly enough, we'll talk about the FanDuel stuff here in a minute. They're actually the odds-on favorite still to win the division. The Ravens are
disgusting.
But regardless, like, Super Bowl caliber team. Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl caliber team. Detroit Lions, Super Bowl caliber team. I think the Vikings, when healthy, are absolutely a playoff team. And now Pittsburgh, I think, still is a playoff team. That's 6 incredibly difficult games that you're walking into and saying, we have a chance. I think the only game you felt like you didn't was Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say Lions.
The Lions are playing some great football, and credit where credit is due there. But this is a team that has very, very clearly shown belief and demonstrated on the field that they can compete with these teams. But like I keep going back to, it has to meet at the top. It has to be a win. It has to be
Kevin Stefanski's signature. When is the last time we had a signature Kevin Stefanski win? People point back to that Green Bay game. That was not a signature Kevin Stefanski win game.
I think
I can't think of the last one time.
I think it's San Francisco 2 years ago.
I don't. You know why I hate when people go back to that game? Because we are a 37-yard kick away from that not going our way.
Yeah.
And we think about that offense. P.J. Walker was our quarterback. I look back at those numbers. He was 16 of 35, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The offense was putrid.
Yeah.
The defense was the reason why we won that game, and the special teams, we got lucky. So they go back to that game. I'm like, well, what the hell did Kevin Stefanski actually do?
It might be Indy. Was Indy the weekend? I think it was the weekend.
I don't even think the Indy game was because
I don't know. That's tough because I know the penalty at the end of the game. I know
2 penalties at the end of the game, not just one. We got bailed out twice on that last drive.
Yeah.
So if you don't get bailed out on that last drive, you're sitting here, you're looking, your team put up 30-something points, and then you still lost.
We'd have to define what a Kevin Stefanski signature win is. Also, news in the Jets game. This is a Kevin Stefanski performance from them. They have 11 points. They just forced a safety. And they're winning. They're winning 11 to 10 right now.
Is Justin Fields getting close to 108?
No, not really. But, oh, wow, also crazy news here. Anthony Richardson, not super shocking that he's not playing. Healthy scratch.
Trade?
The Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, hey.
Yeah. What is just
What did you guys think of the Schefter list of potential trade targets? Were there any on there that surprised you?
Surprising, not really. I have been pounding the table. I don't want this to happen because I love the Giants and I hate the Commanders. Commanders get Breece Hall. I think that is super real. I think there's traction behind.
Commanders?
Yes. I think that, and that's something I talk about in the spring.
What's wrong with Jaden Daniels?
Breece Hall, the running back.
Oh, I thought you said Bryce Young. Why am I thinking? I'm like, wait, what?
No.
You're out on Bill then?
That'd be
no.
nasty.
I don't think I'm out on Bill,
Yeah.
but
Good change of pace back though.
I think he there's levels. Like to me, Breece Hall, when healthy, is one of the 10 best running backs in the NFL. Like he's incredible. I've been pounding the table for that to happen. I also think the Bears could get a guy like that, but it makes too much sense for Alvin Kamara to get traded to the Denver Broncos.
Oh my gosh, that would be
one.
nasty.
And I think the Saints are going to be sellers, whether they want to admit it or not. There was an article that came out last night talking about Alvin Kamara being like a one-stop career guy. Look, Alvin Kamara still has some juice left. He looked really good last year. He's looked solid this year. Kendre Miller also looks really good. He got somebody undercutting. I mean, it makes too much sense.
Then you can usher in, so it would be the perfect complement to R.J. Harvey, too. You bring in Kamara, then you can work in R.J. Harvey.
And Sean Payton loves his running backs. It'd be Kamara, Harvey, and J.K. Dobbins in a running back room. Like, I don't know. I hyped the Broncos up a little too much, I think, after this past week beating the Eagles, partially because I picked them to upset the Eagles. But they are losing to the winless Jets right now, so maybe we should pump the Broncos' brakes. In terms of the other guys who are potentially on the trade market, I know the Giants have made calls to get some wide receivers, which honestly instills a little bit more belief in me that they believe in this team right now. Guys who could be on the move there. I think Chris Olave, kind of a low-hanging fruit, but we've always talked about him. I know the Niners are beat up at wide receiver, but it seems like there's always a world where the Niners trade a Juwan Jennings or a Brandon Ayuk in hypothetical.
They were in trade talks with somebody this week, weren't they?
They were trying to get an edge rusher.
That's what I thought I heard. Okay. Trey Hendrickson is who I thought. Yeah, that would be disgusting.
That's the big one that keeps getting thrown around, and it's something like Brandon Ayuk, where it's every offseason you think it's going to happen, and it never does. But this offseason especially, it was weird. He got paid. Bengals eat some of that money. I think a team would be really inclined to do it. However, one of my hot takes for the week, I'm not convinced the Bengals can beat the Packers. But they are 2 touchdown underdogs today. 2 touchdown underdogs.
Bengals are?
I
That's
am
an
on
easy
that.
cover.
I am on that. I think this is a team that, even if it's Joe Flacco, who's immobile, if he just throws the ball up to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, something good is going to happen. And he's going to utilize Chase Brown, I think, a heck of a lot more than Jake Browning did.
Bro.
Yeah, but it's a worse offensive line than the Browns.
Is it?
I don't. It's right there.
It's
if it's
bad.
not, it's right
well,
there.
no,
Max.
you know, my boy.
I don't know if it is.
My boy Zim said, I don't know if you guys watch the Bengals or not, but the offensive line hasn't been that bad for Browning. He said that Jake Browning has had a ton of time to throw, and that's been the main reason why they wanted to move away from him, because you look at it and be like, dude, what are you doing? You've got all this time to throw. That was the one thing with Joe Flacco this year, and I kept trying to be like, what was the difference from 2023 to now? Why does the offense look so different? Well, the big part was like Joe Flacco was seeing ghosts after he got hit those first few times, and the key to that working out for them is, as long as Joe Flacco can get that first quarter without getting hit, so to where he can see what the coverages are going to look like, to see what they're going to throw at him, I think he'll have a little bit more time. But when you got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, bro, all you need is a second and a half and just be like, F it. 1's down there. If not, 5's down there.
Yeah, and I also wonder with this Bengals defense, like, it's not great. We know that. There are some solid players on this unit that I think, much like the Browns last year, I'm not comparing the talent levels, but I am comparing the situations where the Browns last year very clearly had the talent defensively. They were just always on the field, even at times this year. I wonder if this Bengals defense can start holding teams to, let's just say, less than 24 points, but even giving an offense a chance, because they're not winded. They're, I guess, healthier, but like fully healthy, playing on the defensive side of the ball, not always being on the field because drives stalled out. Like the Vikings offense with Carson Wentz, like, I know Justin Jefferson's great, but it's not active. They ran through the Bengals.
That was the coach. See, that's the coach, though. Kevin O'Connell when you look back at the game last week, bro, the one drive, he was at 3 different spots in one drive. He was out wide, he was in the slot, and he was at the running back position. It's like, when you can find a way to utilize your best player, it's going to be a lot easier, no matter if you're Carson Wentz, Dylan Gabriel, whoever. And that's why I'm so frustrated with Kevin Stefanski, because every single week we sit here and we say, well, why isn't this player getting utilized? Why does this player only have this amount of touches?
Yeah. It does happen every single week. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back in a couple minutes on Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Max Loeb, Chef Jay, Jack O'Rourke, Pat McGuire. We're going to talk a little fantasy football because Jack was just trying to get me to give him some advice on his team that I'm playing this week, and I refused to do it. But, Jack, I want a State of the Union for Chico Dowdle, your fantasy team right now.
Wow. Chico Dowdle.
Yeah, hey, we're off to a rough start here. We won week 1. I think we've dropped 4 straight since then. I think we got 3 guys in the starting lineup who are currently on the IR. So if you're looking for fantasy advice, definitely turn to my left, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say we're going for the first pick. You know, we're
that's what you get for taking Browns to only win 3 games.
You know, at the time of the bet, I didn't think we'd get this early into the rookie quarterback. So that's kind of where my head was at now. But my stakes are medium well, please.
Are you more or less concerned now that they've transitioned to Dylan Gabriel?
Less concerned,
really?
To be honest with you.
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, yeah.
Can we get this guy off the set? Who is this guy?
I don't know. I mean, I'm more concerned now that Kevin's kind of like the third monkey on Noah's Ark. Like, he's fighting for his job right now. Like, you got to go out there and compete on a week-to-week basis to keep going in this league. You know, like, Kevin's past that point now where the coach of the years have kind of worn off a little bit. You know, he's like, what is he, like 4-20 in his last 24 games? Like, you got to start winning football games. So that scares me. That's what scares me about the bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you. I think there's something that needs to be said, and we literally were just talking about it, where you have all this promise, young talents playing well, and you're actually producing. That's a big B.
That's a very hornet.
Actually producing, and you're outplaying teams and you're losing. Like, that's a coaching problem for sure. My question then becomes does something change in the middle of the season if you're getting all this production? Because the reality is, and we just talked about this too, in 3 of 5 games, you felt like you were the better team. 100%.
Absolutely.
And if you are even 2 and 3 at this point instead of 1 and 4, there's a lot more belief. There's a lot more confidence in your team. And this is not a bad football team. I don't know if a head coach elevates this football team to a wild card spot, but it definitely elevates them to a better than 1 and 4 and potentially a 4 and 13, 5 and 12 finish. So
well, we saw what a coaching change did for the Jaguars, who only won 4 games last year, and they're currently 4 and 1. So it definitely matters. But fun fact: Hugh Jackson, Mike Pennant, Rob Chajinski, Pat Shermer, Eric Mangini, Romeo Cornell.
Good company.
All
Black
fired.
Monday?
All fired after they lost to the Steelers.
Wow.
Is it time? Is this the game where it happens? Or are we going to be talking about Kevin Stefanski's seat being even hotter on Monday?
I think it'd be the next time you play the Steelers, right?
I don't want to wait that long.
I think I don't think even if it's like the worst, even if it's like I think Kevin Stefanski would like actually have to make one game-altering decision in the 4th quarter that loses the game for him to get fired after
Like a timeout.
Like an Eberflus type move?
Yes. And the thing is, like, he stuck his neck out so far with Dylan Gabriel getting him in the 3rd round. I find it so hard to believe he would go after 2 starts with him. So hard to believe. Whether right or wrong, I find it really hard to believe that it would happen.
But I think it's the way it happens, though, too, because if he doesn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field again and you're looking at an obsolete offense where you can stack the box every single time, like, then maybe you're talking about something. But, like, if you start moving the ball a little bit today, I think that'd be a different story.
But I don't know. I think last week, it was certainly a baptism by fire last week with the Vikings. That's a tough defense schematically to prepare for. Didn't have their borderline defensive player of the year candidate in Andrew Van Ginkel. That is important. But it's still a tough defense, a defense that you can get a lot out of. And he looked okay. He didn't turn the ball over, which is important.
But is Kevin Stefanski hindering Dylan? That's going to be my question for us today. Is Kevin Stefanski have that leash on Dylan Gabriel? Because I can't deal with another alt 22 and seeing David Njoku running freely up I-77 and not even get looked his way. That tells me, hey, Dylan, you're looking to the left. If it's not the running back, it's the wide receiver. If that's it, take a sack or throw it away. I'm confused on what exactly is the leash for Dylan Gabriel. I want to see this man take some shots downfield today because the same throws that he was throwing last week, definitely didn't look like what we saw in the preseason.
No.
I need preseason Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, we need some type of looseness to be played with. And I don't want to keep comparing the situation to Jackson Dart. I feel like we're a broken record there. But all the articles I'm seeing is this Giants offense is performing better because they're loose, they're having fun. And there's definitely some substance to that in sports, not just football, but the fact that Dylan Gabriel can go out or had gone out, I guess, in the preseason and thrown the balls down the field you feel a little bit more confident in him there. I just don't think the Browns have had the opportunities with the teams they've played to really stretch the field. Like, I think you can look down the field at the Detroit Lions, and obviously Jerry Jeudy had a big catch. Isaiah Bond had opportunities. Like, that to me is really the only time they've seen a team that's like, we're just going to go match up one-on-one and go say, hey, we're better than you. This week is a team like that in Pittsburgh. And I think, honestly, if you're the Steelers, and if I'm the Steelers, I feel confident in my matchups against the Browns pass catchers. But I think that's what they're going to do. My question then becomes, I say that, the Browns haven't scored 20 points yet this year. So, why would you not take a page out of the other team's book? I don't know.
Well, that's why you got to get aggressive and go to a certain point, because when you're Kevin Stefanski at the end of the year, you can't be looking back if you're out of a job and thinking, man, if we just try to throw the ball down the field a little bit at a certain point. Like, I think Harmon is just kind of getting back, still slowly. I know he's like that front seven has picked up for the Steelers a bit since he's been back, but, they're still a little bit weak. Like, Joey Porter Jr. is just getting back in the secondary. Yep. Why not take some reps? I mean, hey, you haven't won in their building in, 25 years? Might as well take a shot or two down the field, right? If we're going to lose, have fun.
I'm going back to what I keep on harping on, and it's why are we giving excuses for Kevin Stefanski that there hasn't been opportunities to take shots down the field when every single week, no matter what quarterback, what team we watch, they're taking the shots downfield? My bigger question with all of that is, you think back to some of the shots that we have taken, and I think back to last year and the year before when I watched Deshaun Watson throw those same exact balls. It's like, oh no, Deshaun Watson's trash. But then Joe Flacco came out and airmailed every single pass on the sideline, and it didn't look like we were throwing the ball downfield. So what exactly is it? Is Kevin Stefanski not letting these quarterbacks air this thing out the right way?
I told myself I wasn't going to bring it up unless somebody else did, but it's a valid question when you look at the past with Deshaun Watson. How much of it was actually his fault on the field?
Bro, it looks identical.
It does.
So are we trying to say we're in for one more experiment with Florida?
No, look,
you're going to get one either way. You're not going to have a choice. That's first. Let's make that clear right now.
I agree with that to an extent, but at the same time, I also think just logistically for the Browns, it makes more sense to hold on to him next year. I think that when you look at this team, I know. It's like nobody wants to hear this.
I don't even want
to say this and put it out there, but the reality is there's a world he plays this year. There's a world he's on the roster next year, and it's an open quarterback competition with Dylan Gabriel, a guy from probably the previous regime with Kevin Stefanski, Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson.
I mean, if he starts a game before Shedeur in Cleveland this year, this city will burn.
We talked about this each of the past 2 weeks. Right now, whatever it is, October 12th, if you were to ask me who's going to start a game first, I think it would be Deshaun Watson. It's crazy to say, but it's true.
Do you think it'd be let's say it's a Dylan Gabriel doesn't work out, not an injury, right? So then you're kind of like Kevin looking at, okay, maybe Shadeur's your last chance to keep your job. Is that like Shadeur's not ready yet? Deshaun can go out there and take hits and play quarterback for a couple of weeks? Is that the world where he gets on the field? If you're waiting for Shedeur, kind of?
It's tough because if that happens, Deshaun Watson plays above Shedeur Sanders, there's a serious
I might lead the pitchfork in conversation. I might lead
it. And I think the Shedeur conglomerate can push things to a different level dramatically with some of this stuff. Of course, Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted a couple rounds before him, is probably going to play before him. Regardless of all that stuff, if Deshaun Watson played before Shedeur, there would have to be some serious questions asked, I think.
I cannot go in. I can't even think about going into a season. If we go into the season next year with Deshaun Watson as a potential quarterback conversation, you're literally wasting another year.
Yep.
And I've already talked about this on past shows where they've wasted the past 3 off seasons dating back to 2022. 2022 was the Jacoby Brissett year, which was a mulligan year.
Yep.
2023 was the first real year that you had with Deshaun Watson. He gets injured halfway through. Then 2024, you scrap the entirety of the offense, go to Ken Dorsey, and he's fired halfway through, basically.
Yep.
So it's you've wasted 3 off seasons as it is. If you go into the next season with Deshaun Watson, you're talking about, again, playing the hypothetical of, well, if he does pan out, and then he goes out and goes 5 weeks and looks like trash, guess what? You just wasted another entire offseason because now you're going to the backup.
Well, you already wasted it. It's $80 million to him next year. It's pre-wasted.
It's a sunk
cost. Jimmy wasted it. Jimmy wasted it.
Yeah, I will say Ken Dorsey, potentially the past 3 years in the NFL, the biggest scapegoat across the entire league with the stuff that happened in Buffalo, stuff that happened in Cleveland. I'm not saying he was a good coordinator, but I think there's a lot of truth to us placing more blame on others than him. But it is crazy. You're running through offensive coordinators. Mm-hmm. You're running through quarterbacks, sometimes because of injury. You can only do so much about it. And you're running through, quote-unquote, variations of your offense. The constant variable in this bad offense has been the coach. And I walked into this season trying to be a little more I guess, open-minded to what Kevin Stefanski's guy, quote-unquote, could bring. And I think we're still starting to see it.
Wait,
That's two Sam Darnold jerseys, by the way,
That's
fellas.
awesome.
That is unbelievable.
I wish we could turn the
unbelievable
cameras
showing
on.
from the fellas.
Oh, my
Two Sam
God.
Darnold
Incredible.
jerseys, unbelievable.
That's like
Incredible.
seeing
We need a
Baker
Vikings
Mayfield in both jerseys.
we need who else?
That's
We
D
need
lineman Baker
Vikings,
Mayfield, thank you.
Vikings and Seahawks, right?
That is
Panthers.
funny.
Panthers.
Yep, we got Panthers, Jets, need Vikings, Seahawks.
Jeez.
Respect to them. I'm pretty sure.
There's some trash over here, too. It's yellow and black in the seat over here.
Man.
Yeah, there he is, right there.
Cordell
there
Stewart.
He is.
Oh,
Look at that.
Stewart.
Trash.
Cordell Stewart.
Cordell Stewart. Yep, we know.
Come on now.
You know what's funny? Cordell Stewart, you think about when I grew up in the era, like obviously you guys are younger than me, but man, watching Cordell Stewart and freaking Charlie Batch destroy our Sundays for so many years, just it pisses me off because there's two those are two quarterbacks that just shouldn't be beating you.
Yeah.
Charlie Batch used to kick our ass in like season 15 and 16 when he had no business being on the field. Absolutely. Are we gonna change that anytime soon?
I don't know. It's not Charlie.
Maybe
Batch
today,
anymore.
so this will be 2, and then we'll get another win against the Jets. So maybe I can get my steak by week 6.
I don't know.
7,
I don't think
8?
you're getting that steak by the bye week.
I think I might get it by the bye week.
By the bye week,
Is that
I
a
don't.
Dustin Hopkins?
I don't think
That's
you're
a
getting
7.
it, period.
Or is that a Deshaun Kaiser?
Gotta be Kaiser.
I'm gonna go.
I'm going to go
Gotta be
I'm going to
Kaiser.
Hopkins.
I think Hopkins too.
I'm going to go Hopkins.
Wait,
Let's
Who
see.
gets the kicker jersey?
I would have after
Wagons get a
2023.
kicker jersey. Yeah, I
Let's
love
see.
that.
Turn it
Let's see,
around.
Turn it around.
Oh, it's
personal.
It's personal. Okay.
Respect. But yeah, let's talk more about this Steelers offense that has continued to look the same, really, since Big Ben left. But the reality now is it's like a better offensive line. They're moving people up front. Their running back room, probably the best it's been. I don't know. My Steelers fans can help me out here. I'd say it past decade, right? Dynamic players, a lot of guys who can do different things. And all of a sudden now you have a true number 1 in DK Metcalf that you have to respect, and guys who are going to win between the hashes, which is where Aaron Rodgers loves to throw the football, and for any quarterback, generally more efficient throwing the football. But again, I talked to Zay about this. I'm looking at a guy like Jonnu Smith who's been not underutilized, but anytime you're in an Arthur Smith offense, you're not going to be utilized as a star. It's just kind of how it goes. I'm terrified of the Browns on the inside again, whether it's Miles Harden, whether it's Ronnie Hickman coming down, Grant Delpit coming down, whoever it may be. That terrifies me, to be honest with you. I'm a little worried about that.
What do you think about the Steelers' injury issues at wide receiver?
I am less worried about that because if your name is not DK Metcalf, it's not like you're getting 5+ targets. Mm-hmm. Like I think that's the reality with the Smith system, and I think in a game where Vegas has the Steelers 6-point favorites now,
5.5.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have to throw the ball 30+ times for Aaron Rodgers, but I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that he does have to throw the ball 30+ times because the Browns are stopping up the run, which I totally think they can do. I know I just gassed up the Steelers' offense and their offensive line, but I totally think that there's a world where they could, stop the Steelers' offense entirely on the ground.
Guys, I do have a quick update from NFL insider Robert Watson. The jersey at the bar, the number 7 Browns jersey, is actually a Scottish Hammer. Jamie Gillen.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's an elite jersey.
That might be one of its kind.
Shout out to my New York Giants, Jamie Gillen. Good game this past Thursday. Again, we will not talk any more Giants football unless brought up by somebody else.
Is there any other team that has fan favorites like Browns do? We clean the guys. Remember,
I'm sure
it was first.
No,
it was Gillian.
I feel like the Bills do. Like Mac Hollins kind of was.
Yeah.
Well,
Roscoe
Mac Hollins
Parrish.
is a receiver. We're talking about, dude. We graveled around a punter and a kicker. It was I love
And a kicker
Cade York for a week straight after he won for Baker Mayfield.
I feel like there are. It's just we're closed-minded because I can speak Giants fans. Like there are some guys who I can pull out that were childhood favorites of mine that I don't even know if you guys could spell their last names, nonetheless just name the player. Like there are some wild ones out there. But no, I know coming from a different fan base and growing up in New England being a Giants fan, I saw kind of two perspectives here. There is no more obscure fan base, at least that I've seen, from players' favorites jerseys than the Browns. I don't know if that's a good thing, though. I really don't know if that's a good thing.
because
in Buffalo, everyone's got a Josh Allen jersey.
Yeah.
but everyone had a Baker Mayfield jersey.
But even the more obscure guys, I think back, Dan Carpenter, kicker, good player. He was a staple there for a few years. I'm starting to think now, when you look at the Buffalo Bills, Matt Milano, obviously a good player, but not a player that a lot of people would pull from really any fan base.
There's one jersey that almost every Browns fan either had at one point or heavily considered buying at one point. Do you guys know what jersey that is?
Cribs?
Give me the
Nope.
give me the time period.
This is probably, we're going to go at least
Bernie?
15 years, 10 years,
Oh.
10, 15 years ago. Probably more than that.
Probably Peyton Hillis.
I was
Trent
gonna-
Richardson.
I was going to say Peyton Hillis.
Nope.
Is it since they returned?
It's since the return. It was one of the hottest jerseys. I mean, you could still probably find this jersey at a
Braylon,
TJ
maybe?
Maxx.
Braylon Edwards.
Nope.
Damn.
Nope.
I don't know.
Kellen
Pretty
Winslow.
boy. Pretty boy.
Oh, Brady Quinn.
Brady freaking
Oh, I had
Quinn.
a Brady Quinn jersey.
That jersey was on sale for decades. You could literally, the random Tuesday, you could walk into
Maxx
a TJ
special.
Maxx
Yep.
and find a
Maxx
Brady freaking Quinn jersey.
There's like still like a row of them at the Marshalls at Westgate and
bet.
Fairview Park. There's just a
I
Brady
freaking
Quinn
bet.
section.
That is
Oh,
crazy.
man.
Denver Broncos just kicked another field goal. They're up 13-11. 5 minutes left. Justin Fields,
Game
opportunity
winner?
right now, game-winning drive. 38 passing yards right now. 38 passing yards. But this would be the most Stefanski
How
win
many?
of all time for the New York. 38. I know. Yeah. This would be the most Stefanski
Could
win
you
of
imagine
all
if-
time. If you were to have told me if the Jets could win this game 14-13 right now with a game-winning field goal. 14 points, Jets, I'd say 2 touchdowns and a heartbeat. 4 field goals and a safety. It's pretty ridiculous.
Can you imagine if Kevin Stefanski won this game? I could hear the Stefanski truthers now. He won that game. Bro, they scored 20.
run the ball. You always tweeted run the ball.
Defense has all the points. It's like, yeah, but he's the coach, so he gets to win, right? Like, dude, you're the whole thing with the whole Kevin Stefanski thing with me is just, bro, I'm tired of the excuses on offense. Like,
Who's your replacement though?
right now?
Yeah.
Tommy Reese. Let the offensive coordinator be the offensive coordinator, okay? Bring in Jim Schwartz. Let his ass be the head coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, Jim Schwartz be the head coach.
I thought you were
and let
saying
Tommy
Tommy
Reese
Reese
be
head
the
coach.
offensive
Yeah, I meant
coordinator.
like who is the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
Jim Schwartz right now. It's the easiest usher into a
Yeah.
spot that we have ever seen. He would instantly command the respect from the locker room.
Yeah.
The moxie and aura would radiate from the defensive side of the ball through the entire offensive side of the ball.
Yep.
And we get to see what is the one thing that we always talk about every single year across the NFL. Well, who's the next young guy that's going to be able to be that guy? We don't know if Tommy Reese can actually be that guy because he's not doing anything right
Yep.
now. So you would have a system in place, ready to go if you were to get rid of Kevin Stefanski Monday.
It's true. I don't think it happens Monday.
It
but
won't
you're
happen.
Right.
It won't.
You're right. Is
Max,
there-
who do you think will be whenever it happens the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
We won't know. There's still too many.
I think
John Gruden.
if no, well, that's a whole other can of worms.
Nick
dude.
Stone's on that
I'm
one.
not. I'm not opening that can of worms.
He's a homer too. I'm just saying.
Knock on wood
Yeah.
if you're with me.
But the interesting thing here is this is going to be a Browns team likely next year, and you guys can correct me or say if you think differently. If Stefanski goes, I think Andrew Berry still is here.
I think
Yeah.
Andrew Berry is too.
They
that draft.
they just watched, and I know it's so early in the season, they just watched somebody leave their building and is now leading a team who's 3-2, I believe, and he's my pick for coach of the year. I think he's been one of the best coaches so far, Mike Vrabel. I
Yep.
find it hard to believe if you have something in-house that you'd let it go. Again.
And you know what's even frustrating about that is you think back to the NFL Combine where they asked him a question: Would you think about coming and being Browns coach? Yeah, I'm up to it if they came and talked to me.
Yeah.
Just like Joe Flacco didn't even give him the time of day to sign a contract. Mike Vrabel not even a thought.
How, like,
What kind of football operation are we running? It's funny because I sent you guys a text message in the group chat where it's one thing when us guys here who have never played a snap in the NFL can run our mouths and talk about
Yeah.
one thing. But it is a completely different story when you have guys who are Super Bowl champions, who are arguably the best at their position. Guys like James Harrison talk about, like, what are they doing in Cleveland? They are dropping the
Yeah.
ball. Like, how are we getting the brute end of it when other players around the league are seeing the same exact thing?
yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that Kevin Stefanski is this savior when he has nothing to prove for it except for 2 faulty coaches of the years.
And it's coach of the years that have been in the past, too. It's
Where
not,
you going?
It's not like he had
Go Browns. Woof woof.
Oh,
it's not like he had been a coach of the year last year, right? When the roster was a little bit worse. It was not a playoff roster. I think you could make the argument in 2023, like just the roster, regardless of who was coach, still could compete for a wild card spot. But now it's like there's been no production on the field offensively. Last season was as bad as it's been in a really, really long time. And this season it's just continuing the same trends. Rob, welcome on.
Oh, my boys. How y'all doing today?
How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, bro. It's a nice, beautiful day out
It is, man. I'm still trying to get used to you without all the hair on top, man.
It's a new look. I want to be mature, bro.
Oh, Baker Mayfield over here. Holy crap.
They need an adult in the room, bro. So I had to cut my hair real quick, bro.
You might be the youngest one on the set talking about adult in the room.
The whole Baker Mayfield thing is crazy to me, too, because it's like –
we're talking
him.
Baker?
Yeah, why not, right? It's him. It's guys like Dart. It's guys like, I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers can be cocky at a point too. It's like, at what point is that a questionable attitude or approach? I think it stops, I guess, the questions with winning. But like watching Baker Mayfield now, it's the whole moxie confidence thing. This would be such a different story. We'd be calling for him to be benched if he was acting like this and he, I don't know, 1-4, like. The fact winning solves everything, I think, in the NFL, and I think it would solve a lot today if the Browns got a win, regardless of how many points they scored. If they scored 20, that'd be sweet. Don't think it's going to happen, but like, I think they're in a spot now where they need some of that. They need some of that attitude, some moxie. And I know a quarterback who can bring it. I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. But.
And that's why I really just wish Dylan Gabriel, because I think he has a dog in him.
I do too.
We need someone to unleash it. You don't see the type of moxie that he displays. I mean, even on those little videos where he's like, I'm an F-yo, you know, that one video where he was in his car?
Yeah.
It's like, this dude got some swagger to him. He got a little bit of, I'm going to talk my trash to you. Like, can we see that? Because if you do that, this team is going to galvanize around that.
Absolutely.
Because the second you throw it, like, that's why you need to do this week. I tweeted it out last week. I said, I've never been more scared for a quarterback than I am Dylan Gabriel coming home next week.
It could go really, really bad this week, or he could shock the world and he could be stamped for a couple weeks. For a couple weeks,
for a couple weeks. You got it right.
For a couple weeks, bro. Like, you can buy yourself some bail here. You know who I think brings the moxie now, and it's a position we weren't really used to hearing anyone talk about. It's Quinshawn Judkins,
I agree.
bro.
I agree.
We're not used to seeing a running back run through somebody's face, but then get up and let you know about it. And Nick Chubb, everyone loves him. Great running back, but it's a different vibe when he runs the ball. It's angry, it's vicious. Much more like how Kareem Hunt would do it. He's going to get up, he's going to let you know. They need to feed off of that because he's going to be how you score your points today.
Agreed.
Like if we know they don't want to throw it more than 10 yards, so we're going to have to hope 10 is running the ball and he's running it well because I don't know how they're going to put up points on this defense today. Fellas.
I agree. I agree with you. And you look at some of the running back production in the past, like I watched that Patriots game against the Steelers pretty much in full, and Ramondre Stevenson, granted, he fumbled like 4 times, had a ton of success. Kenneth Walker had 100 yards against them as well. Breece Hall had a pretty solid game week 1 as well. Like, there's gaps on that Steelers defense. And I also think it's worth noting that Judkins and the Browns' run game have played like that, have shown energy, moxie against the Green Bay Packers. Walking into this game, I believe, were statistically the second best run defense behind the Browns walking into that game. The Vikings run defense, who has been pretty solid. Lions, I mean, they're all right. I didn't think the Browns needed to run the ball as much as we probably wanted them to in that game because the Lions DBs were brutal. The pass game just sucked for the Browns.
Shocker.
I think this is a spot where you control the football. To me, this is exactly like the Vikings game last week. Control the football. You're going to have a lot of success on the ground. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to be asked to do too much. Probably take more shots this week than last week. This is a game they can win. Absolutely can win.
We've seen the recipe for success. I mean, teams are displaying it on us every single week. What's the one thing that we've been saying the past couple weeks is, well, the noise that you hear is, well, where the hell is Myles Garrett? Well, when they're throwing the ball, the second that it's hiked, it's going to be hard for Myles Garrett to get there. Yeah. They're making sure that they get the ball out quick. If you can get the ball out quick, you don't want T.J. Watt and Highsmith and these boys and Hayward and these boys to get any type of time. Like, Kevin Stefanski needs to dial up some pretty simple stuff today. Some underneath routes, some quick slants. Just get that rhythm going. Make the defense stay true and honest. And just take those little 5-6 yard gains. If you do that every play, you'll score.
Yep.
Like, you just average more than 3.5 yards, and you'll be fine. And that should be the motto today. And then guess what can happen? 10 can get the ball more. Yep. Play action can open up more. You can bootleg to the left side more. You can throw it downfield more than 10 yards. So it's all going to start with really how aggressive and what is Kevin Stefanski's game plan going to be for this offense. And it should just be quick and easy access to everything.
Yeah. I'm worried, though, that they are thinking the exact same thing, and they come out and they're playing aggressive. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna come, we're biting on all the slants, all the drags, the screens,
Mm-hmm.
all over it. That's when Dylan's gonna have to make a play and actually hit a big time throw.
Yeah.
And he had a couple last week, but early on it was a little bit. That's when he was throwing them high. He was airmailing, and you know he's gonna have to throw it with a little bit of loft because 90 and Highsmith, they're all gonna be wanting to bat the balls down. They're gonna be waiting on it.
Yep.
So that's where he's going to make his money today. Is I think he's going to have to hit those 15 to 20-yard throws. He's going to have to come out and probably hit one or two early to get them to respect that.
Yep.
So then we
To
can
see
get
that
to
you
our
can do
game
it.
plan. Yeah, because we haven't seen it, bro.
It's funny that I don't think I heard anyone talk about it last week at all. But, like, there were a couple batted down balls last week. One of them was almost an interception on the sideline.
Yep.
And we hadn't seen that at all with Joe Flacco
yeah.
at all.
It's the height.
And it's weird that we didn't talk about that at all and how that wasn't a case. Everyone talked about the airmails, but it's like maybe that height is really a factor as to why he can't see. Like, I didn't see any batted balls down with Joe. That's huge. So Stefanski is definitely going to have to figure something out. And you need to figure out what you got with Dylan Gabriel, because I'm sorry, I'm done with the excuses. This is your guy. This is Hugh Jackson's Cody Kessler third round trust me guy. All right? And we saw how that panned out. So please, Dylan, just get us one, and then you can go ahead and lose 3 in a row.
I will say, I think if he can do it this week, he can do it against a lot of teams in terms of just like the structure of the Steelers. It's not a carbon copy across the league, but when you have a good running back like Quinshon Judkins, and that's the strength of your team, you're going to put 8 in the box, you're going to play cover 3, you're going to force on third downs. Your DBs who you feel like are better than the Browns wide receivers, which I think we can probably all agree looking at Steelers DB room, Browns wide receiver room, Steelers do have an edge. They're going to be aggressive. Like, that's the reality of it. That's why I'm looking very, very early on in the game. The first chance they get, throw the football down the field.
So we talked about fire. Just want to give you your boy Brian Dable is getting fined for the medical tent incident. Are you, as a fan, do you care? I love it. I'd be like, Kevin, do it again.
I think professionally you kind of have to care.
Hell no.
But, like, see, here's the thing. Professionally, like, you do have to care.
Right.
Everybody in that locker room now, and I think this is the perspective, I think, of the public of the Giants. Like, the Giants have always been, especially with Eli, like the buttoned up, not super, I guess, problematic in the overall world. Like, you say the right things, you do the right things, you play the game a certain way. With Tom Coughlin, you show up 5 minutes early to everything. That's not who the Giants are right now. Never been who Brian Dable's been, never. But I think everybody in that locker room sees that. I think more importantly, they see Cam Scadaboo do that.
Yeah.
And they're bought in even more, which to me on the field is more important.
Well, when you see Jackson Dart throwing his head into defender's chest, like, you almost want to run in the chest with him. Like, that's what I like. Dylan could be everything, right?
He's not that guy.
But
he's not that guy.
It's such a different feel when you have the Baker, when you have the Shedeur effect, or the Jackson Dart effect, or the Josh Allen effect. Like, no one's getting excited for Kirk Cousins. No one was getting excited for. I'm trying to think of what other quarterback was just
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan went to a Super Bowl. Matt Ryan is a little different because he can air that thing out. I don't think
absolutely.
But like, when you have a quarterback who demands that much attention and he can command that much respect from not just your locker room but players across the league, it makes things so much different because you can feel like when Baker Mayfield came in for Tyrod Taylor, you knew the second he came in what was about to happen.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine the second Shedeur Sanders is on the sideline, helmet on, like the stadium is gonna erupt. And I go back to that New York Giants clip where that one fan, he's like, I've been a season ticket holder for 20 years.
Yep.
We ain't never felt anything like this in the stadium. We had Eli. Eli was good. He went down, and I'm like, damn, we got a quarterback on our team that can give us that exact same feeling.
It feels like we don't want that, though.
I don't want him with Shedeur. I mean, I don't want him with Kevin.
Kevin wants the, like, robo quarterback. Like, he wants to be up there like Ratatouille, like, controlling the dude. Like, he wants no personality, just do every single exact thing that I say.
Agreed.
And that's obviously why I didn't work with Baker, because he's not a guy like that. But you're saying you want someone who could galvanize a team. I don't think those two are two things you could get combined, because everyone's going to look at you as just the extension of the coach. You're just doing everything he says. But when you get a guy like Shedeur, who maybe he wants to take control, he gets in the huddle, and he looks at Jerry Jeudy, he's like, you know what? Bump whatever he just called. We got to go get it on this play. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm so glad you said that, because I was just about to bring up that point. You think about, remember, what was it, 2 seasons ago when we had that one big touchdown pass from Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper, and Kevin Stefanski called one play, and then they were like, no, we went to the dirt and drew up our own play.
Yeah.
You need a guy who's going to be like, you know what, Kevin, this ain't like LeBron. No, bump that. I'm going to the corner. Like, we need a true leader. And that's unfortunately, like, we always try to, as Browns fans, we sit here every week and we say, well, what's the problem? And we never really know. Leadership is the biggest problem on this team. You have no bona fide true leader. Myles Garrett's a leader, but that he kind of got ushered into that, and he grew into that feeling. I think 10 is that version of the leader. It would just be nice if we could get that in our quarterback position and our head coach position, because those are the spots where it matters most.
You need either or both, a coach who's like that or a quarterback who's like that. Like, you go across every single team in the NFL right now. Like, we start in the AFC. Josh Allen will galvanize the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
There's not a doubt in my mind about that. Well, Sean McDermott, I don't know, but Josh Allen can bring him
For
up.
sure.
Lamar Jackson can galvanize the Baltimore Ravens.
And Harbaugh.
And Harbaugh
Yeah,
can.
not recently, to be honest with you, but Lamar has brought him up to that point. You look at the Chiefs. They've won so much in the past that you almost don't need it, but it's a perfect marriage with Mahomes and Andy Reid. You look at the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell will get his guys up. And Jared Goff, who in L.A., for lack of a better term, was a little cockier, true Cali boy through and through, goes and plays for a coach who changes the culture and changes the way you do things. He's a changed person now. You go look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, very clearly, even though he's not playing great football right now, very clearly a leader. Sirianni, kind of like Dan Campbell, a little over the top, but it's a perfect marriage. You look at the Browns, there's no marriage between a coach and a quarterback where one of them has the ability to galvanize a team. There's nobody on the roster, maybe Quinshon Judkins. He's a rookie, but like you said, it's hard to do that at a running back position, right? Especially because in games where you will have to abandon the run. It's the reality. The Browns are probably going to get blown out a couple more times this year. Your leader, your galvanizer, is almost taken out of the game. So it's hard to do that. And I think it comes with a coaching change, it comes with a quarterback change, or a perfect marriage, and we haven't seen it yet. It's been a week with Dylan Gabriel. We got to give it some time, and I think we're going to get some time. But the frustration with Stefanski in this whole thing is totally normal.
Not going to have much time, I can tell you that, because Shedeur Sanders is no longer QB3. He's quarterback 2.
Yep.
And we know, I mean, it took Kevin Stefanski to see Deshaun Watson tear his Achilles to finally be like, yeah, he's not the best quarterback for us to win right now. And then we can win it. So, like, it's going to be hard to look at anything, moving forward if we can't even, like, I just want one win. Like, can we get one win, please? Everything else will take care of itself later on.
It's sickening to think that we could be everything could be somewhere a kick away and then a better management of a game in London to where Dylan's playing and he won his first start.
We be talking about the division.
And we're like, we're in the playoffs.
Especially with Baltimore right now,
That's why it's such a I try to always keep it honest, and regardless of how it's the Browns or the Browns, you gotta the games when they're there, you gotta find a way because it's as open as it'll ever be right now. And even today with a win, you're right back. You're in it. It's gonna be there, but
I think there's real problems in Baltimore too. I think there's something there. The same type of eternal problems that we're talking about here. I think they got some things going on. I just think back to the whole Lamar Jackson thing, and he's got another contract year coming up. Like, you've got a window right now to really do some damage. And it's weird that I talked to my Cincy boy. He's like, why would you guys give us a bone? He's like, we were dead in the water with Jake Browning. Why would you throw these guys a bone? So you could be talking about a 3-team race moving forward if the Browns can find a way to muster up a win this week, which is, we're pooping in one hand and wishing in the other. But I think it can happen. And if it does happen, you best believe I'm going to be talking about that division in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
And the reality is, like, with the division, I truthfully do think the problems in Baltimore are more injury-related than it is John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson-related. But it's a team that's going to be injured this week, probably going to drop their 7.5-point dogs at home to the Los Angeles Rams.
They're dogs?
Yep, and I said it in my little pregame breakdown of that game. I don't care if they have Lamar Jackson. Sean McVay off a loss off of a mini-bye. I'm taking the Rams either way. Like, probably going to lose that game. They have another game, and then they go on a bye. So, like, mid-season, you're going to be looking at this Baltimore Ravens team potentially at what, like 1-5, 1-6?
That's nasty.
It's crazy, but they, above any team in the NFL, I think,
could get to 9
have the talent to do that. A lot of it hinges on Lamar. But at the same
All of it
time,
hinges.
the Steelers, I think, were a little underrated going through the offseason because of Aaron Rodgers questions. What are they going to do at quarterback? They had, for the 2 weeks, they had George Pickens and DK Metcalf. You're like, okay, maybe this offense could be something. You trade George Pickens, and you're like, okay, we're back to square one here. I still think they're a solid team. I called them a wild card team when we were talking about the season before. But like you said, it blows my mind with the Bengals stuff. They were dead in the water. And I know the Browns won't see them till the very end of the year. That's the reality. But it's a division rival that has a win on you already, might I add. I don't know. Like, this is – I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Browns can win the division. Like, I'm not. I don't truly believe that. But they win today. They have 2 wins, and the Steelers are, 3-2?
Yep.
Right? They're a game behind Pittsburgh. Baltimore's sitting at 1 win right now.
You see Pittsburgh again in a couple weeks again, right?
Again in a couple weeks. And the reality with Cincinnati is they, at home today, they're 2 touchdown underdogs. I know I just got done talking about them covering. I still think they will. But they're 2 touchdown underdogs at home. Then they play Pittsburgh on a short week. So, like, there's going to be some parity in this division where if you're the Browns, you have to win today. You got to set the culture with a win today. But then you get Miami, who might be as beat up as anybody else in the NFL.
Barbecue chicken.
Patriots, who are good.
Jets, who just lost.
And then and then the Jets. Like,
we're buying in. We're buying in.
I don't know if we're buying in. But
we're doing it.
If there is a time where you can win a game and change the direction your season is going, it is 1,000% today. 1,000% today. And it has nothing to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Obviously, it's an AFC North, it's a divisional game, but you win this game, you avoid going 0-3 in the division to start the year. You go on the road in a place you haven't won in, what, it was 22 years?
20 years since
Too many.
the regular season win.
You shut that up really quick, you win there. And then you're in a spot next week, you're like, okay, we can beat Miami at home. I don't doubt that for a second. They can absolutely beat Miami at home. And then, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but you're riding a two-game winning streak going to New England where you can lay it all on the line before your bye week. You win today, I think there's a real chance you're sitting at 4-4 at the bye, as crazy as that sounds.
And then we're talking about Kevin Stefanski's job being safe, and then I'm back, in that corner.
Results-driven business. You win games, you sing your praises, but when
I just
when
don't.
you
I
got
don't.
the wins and you leave them on the table, and we are where we are now. There's not much to say when you give us no hope.
I just don't think there's much that I can be. But like, there's nothing that Kevin Stefanski can do at this point that would make me think he's the right guy for the job moving forward. Like, we could find a way to peel off all of these games moving forward. I just think when it's all said and done, we've got a major sample size of what Kevin Stefanski has to offer.
Yep.
And every single year, I mean, I'm going back at videos that were from 2021, and it was the same exact questions and problems that we had now with Nick Chubb and with Baker Mayfield and with Jarvis Landry and Odell and these guys. Why is Harrison Bryant taking QB sneaks? Like, you know what I mean?
Why
like,
are we running tight end reverses?
My point exactly. When you got Isaiah Bond or Anthony Schwartz, you know what I mean? Like, fast guys who actually are built to do that. So it comes with the whole if we land a quarterback thing. Like, is Kevin Stefanski a bad coach? No, I don't want to sit here and say he's a bad coach, but his problems can get masked with a quarterback or 100%. With some wins, and I just think that's a recipe for disaster moving forward, in my opinion.
I agree. Let's talk outcome of this game. I got the lines up right now. Back up to 6.5 on FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm curious, anything, Rob, that you are riding in this game that you like? I know I talked about Isaiah Bond receiving yards on pregame show Friday. Still love that against this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Anything that you like in this game?
I actually got help from my girlfriend on this.
Here
one.
we go. Let's go.
I like Myles Garrett to record a sack, possibly a strip sack. I think this is he's going to get up for this one. He talked about the tombstones. He wants to add Aaron Rodgers to his collection too. Every game against TJ Watt, he's taking that personally. And 3, like you guys are saying, season is on the line this week.
Yep.
They've been talking. They said Myles was a ghost last week, even though he affects the game every time he's out there. He's never a ghost. Teams are just avoiding him as much as they can.
Yeah.
I think he comes out, he looks to shut some people up. Look for Myles Garrett to get a strip sack, and I would look for Quinshon Judkins to score a touchdown.
I like
that.
Very
basic stuff.
Judkins at, I think, plus 120, actually, to get in the end zone. Jalen Warren, the only player with better odds. I just added to my picks for the day a Cleveland defense touchdown at plus 850. I don't know if it's pick six. I don't know if it's a strip sack, but I like them to, again, wreak havoc on the Steelers. I think they're more than due for that with how well they've been playing. Obviously, Delpit was tackled at, the 3 or the 4 against the Packers. Like, there's been opportunities. I think they take one into the end zone this game. But Isaiah Bond is my guy, and I know our honor of the lay, it's Bond 30+. It's Jerry Jeudy 4+ catches and
44.
I think 44 yards.
Disrespectful
whatever it was.
number.
Yeah. Again,
I do like one straight bet for you guys. They got Andre Schmidt at 5.5 points. 2 field goals?
2 field goals, yeah.
You telling me he can't get 2 field goals?
Well, I know they're not scoring kicking a field goal and scoring 3 touchdowns. So. Oh, man. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you listening. Guys, any final words before we sign off here?
Here we go, Rowdies. Here we go.
We appreciate you guys. We will see you next time on Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network.